Welcome to Malifaux University. 508. Core Rule Scheme, Search the Ruins. Search the Ruins is a pretty straightforward scheme to play. Very simply, you place scheme markers next to pieces of terrain on the enemy side of the table. That's all. The reveal condition for Search the Ruins is scored at the end of the turn. If you have 2 or more friendly scheme markers on the enemy side of the table, each one in base contact with a different piece of terrain, you remove 2 and score the victory point.
The terrain you use does not have to be chosen in advance, so feel free to use whatever is most convenient at the time, but the terrain you use for this must be completely on the enemy half of the table. Also, markers that count as terrain do not qualify. It has to be legit table terrain.
The end condition is nearly the same. Instead of 2 scheme markers in contact with 2 pieces of terrain, it's 3. 3 scheme markers need to be on the enemy table half, each in contact with a different piece of terrain. At the end of the game, remove 3 scheme markers and score your point.
Markers that count as terrain still don't count.
It may be beneficial when trying to fulfill these conditions to drop an additional scheme marker or 2 in case your opponent figures out what you're doing and removes some of them. As long as you have 2 for the reveal and 3 for the end, those are the ones you remove to score your point. Of course, you cannot drop scheme markers with the interact action within 4 inches of one another, so if you don't have models that can drop scheme markers with special abilities or actions, you may want to rely on models that have a high movement stat so they can space these out appropriately.
Remember that summoned models don't count for friendly schemes or strategies and cannot take the interact action for the turn they are summoned.
This means you cannot summon a model and have it interact to drop scheme markers that turn, but it could do so the next turn, as long as it wasn't summoned in turn 5.
Let's see this in action. Captain Zip's infamous Bayou crew is tangling with Parker Barrow's bandit crew. Mancha Roja kills one of Benny Wolcomb's Malifaux rats, triggering Benny's Loyal to the Very End ability, which lets him drop a scheme marker in base contact with the rat. The bandit player places it here, next to this building that is completely on the Bayou side of the table. The outcast player considered using Zip's piano markers for this scheme, but remembered that it must use non-marker terrain. Mad Dog Brackett uses his Chesterfield shotgun to destroy a Wrastler, using his A Fistful of Script ability to drop a scheme marker next to the Wrastler and in contact with another building. Just to be safe, in case the infamous crew manages to remove one of the other scheme markers, the dead outlaw in this forest uses Interact to drop a scheme marker in the forest, which counts as being in base contact. All the scheme markers are on the Bayou side of the playing area and in base contact with a different piece of terrain. So at the end of the turn, the outcast player reveals the scheme, removes 2 of the scheme markers, and scores the victory point.
That's the core rule scheme, Search the Ruins. Pick up a printable set of all the markers and tokens you need to play Malifaux in the Wargames Vault. If you haven't already, join our Patreon for early, ad-free access to all new content, and be sure to visit the Malifaux University gift shop for the latest in Malifaux-themed shirts, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Links are in the notes below. And remember, play friendly games, keep it simple, and have fun.